Hey then everyone, it's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. Yes, the beard has disappeared. Feels really weird, but let's get on with today's business. We got RemiLore, which is from Nicalis. I always have high expectations from this publisher. The great thing about them is most of the time you can get a physical copy, and here is no different. Let's jump into this video and see whether this one then is worth your investment and time. Let's get into it. Remy is just an ordinary high school student, and in typical curiosity killed the cat type of scenario, she manages to awaken a talking book. That's right, a talking book who of course is the master of magic. The name is Lore, a very apt name indeed, and together they are thrust into this magical world called Ragnoa, which is full of mecha monsters. Throughout the game, the story is fully voice acted in Japanese and subbed in English, and while the translation was fine, the fantasy, story and character interactions weren't the main draw for me.
我が輩の魔力を回復することが一番肝心なのだ。お家に帰りたくないのか?
In fact, on my second run through, I just wanted to skip as there were just too many pauses. Luckily, the game provides a mode where you don't have to listen to all these cutscenes every time you want to start a new run. Now, this is an anime-style roguelite, where the minute-to-minute gameplay is a hack-and-slash button masher. Maneuvering Remy is nice and precise, and the book automatically floats along behind her. There are really only a couple of buttons you need to press to wield an attack from one of the 216 weapons, which can be unlocked throughout your adventure. Killing mecha monsters is satisfying, and being rated after clearing each room feels both rewarding and addicting. There are 4 bars that you need to worry about here. Your mana bar, so you can use your magical ranged attacks with lore, freezes, a slowed down time power, and these are more dependent on the current weapon you have equipped and the magical attribute that weapon has assigned to it. Now, these are fixed and cannot be changed. It just depends on the weapon drop and, as I say, which magical attribute it's assigned when you pick it up. Thankfully, there are lots of weapons locked within crates, and there are even places to spend your dessert points, the game's currency, which is a bunch of cakes, to try and get a better weapon. The aim of the game here is to try and get the best weapon, so you have the best chance of getting as far as possible, and you'll need to sort of get through quite a few runs to achieve this. Your mana bar needs to have juice for when you need to use that magical attack. Your health bar, of course, needs to be kept topped up. These are obvious things. Extra important here though is that the game is a roguelite, and your dash meter, which recharges slowly, needs to be managed, especially if you're in the middle of a boss fight or if there's plenty of enemies on screen. Dashes are essential both in boss battles and to get out of the way of an impending enemy strike. You also have a combo meter, which of course is important as this will affect your rank, so keeping this going by striking one enemy after another without getting hit is an absolute must if you want those S ranks. Now, as you clear each act, you'll be scored from C to S, and the chests which will drop for you are dependent on this rank. So for example, if you score an A ranking, you'll have the pleasure of opening 3 chests, giving you more chances of getting that better weapon. Score a B and you get 2, a C just merely 1, and you can work out what you get if you get an S rank. But these are really quite difficult to attain at first. When you begin the game, wading through enemies is an absolute breeze. They don't pose much difficulty at all. You can easily smash through bots using a combination of attacks without any real problem. As you get further though, things start to become increasingly more difficult, and that measly ranked C weapon is just not going to suffice. Each weapon is also ranked, and it's the weapons which give you the most variety in your gameplay. Wielding a one-handed sword enables you to be quicker on your feet, but the DPS ranges are lower. Master the hammer, a two-handed weapon through your strikes, will be more powerful, and you'll also be open though to be attacked, as that heavier weapon just slows you down. As you kill enemy after enemy, desserts drop all over the place, and collecting these allow you to upgrade your mastery of weapon types in the upgrade menu. For example, I enjoyed wielding the one-handed weapons due to the quicker response times and the ease in which I was able to string combinations together. This was at the sacrifice of damage output, however, and if you want those S ranks, finding the right balance is key. Rankings are based on three things: combinations, damage output, and how quickly you cleared the area. The amount of desserts collected at the end of an act also counts and can tip the balance to getting you a better grade. Now, where the weapons really come into play is their secondary magical attributes, which lore has the power to release and can make all the difference in battle. You of course control this. For example, you can pick up a one-handed sword which may have the freeze magical attribute or the slow down time attribute. Then this can give you massive advantages in battle, especially when you upgrade these powers to their maximum capacity. Which you prefer, of course, is up to you, and as you play the game more, you will naturally go for a weapon and magical combinations which suit your playstyle. It's finding them, though, that's gonna be the key. I really enjoyed the simple mechanics and systems employed here. It's not too complex, doesn't get into that deep RPG style where you can get a bit lost. The game is about making multiple run-throughs and unlocking as many weapons as possible, so you then have them available for your next run, making it easier each time you try to complete the game. Now, the reason it's of course a roguelite is because your upgraded masteries never get lost, and nor do the weapons you unlock. If you do perish, however, you do lose some of the desserts you collected on that particular run, so spend them in game as soon as you can in case you die. You can mitigate this if you want by pumping some dessert points into not losing as many desserts when you die in the upgrade menu though. You can also continue from the beginning of an act that you have reached too, which is a nice little bonus. Each act has around 5 levels, so having to start from the very beginning of the game would have really left a bad taste. Return to the main menu however and you will have to start again, so do bear that in mind. Overall then, in terms of gameplay, this has a very addicting quality that keeps you coming back for more, and it's that lure of more weapon loot. The issue I have with the game is that I did find it to get very repetitive rather quickly. If it was not for the weapons, then there wouldn't be too much to keep me coming back. The variety of enemies I also found to be a little lacking, and the boss battles too were rather lackluster. I didn't find them to be that challenging and they were super predictable, and that for me was disappointing. While the levels themselves are randomly generated, the bosses you fight and in which order you fight them is not. Don't get me wrong, you'll enjoy playing this game, but my criticism here is due to the fact that the game for the most part is enjoyable. They have tried to keep things fresh by having those procedurally generated levels, but in all honesty it doesn't change that feeling I had of getting a little bit bored after about 3 hours. Now, you can enjoy the adventure in co-op with a friend, and that does make things a lot more interesting. As I say, the game is good, and if you can enjoy it with somebody else, then even better. In terms of audio, you have your usual quirky type of music here from Japan with that poppy rock music, which I enjoyed. If you like Japanese, then this is fully voice acted without English dubs, and if you don't, then it might be a little bit of a turn off. I went into the options to see if there was any other languages available, but I could only see English. It seems like there are arrows there to toggle other languages, but it didn't work. Maybe there'll be more languages in a future patch. Visually, I think all randomly generated games, there is a certain feel to them when the levels look quite generic, and this is no different for the most part. Depending on the act though, they have managed to implement some lovely artwork around the outside of the levels. It looks like they're floating. The lighting also changes so that you can explore Ragnoa in summer, winter and spring, which looks really nice. The weapons are great looking, especially once you start to get the later ones, and certainly those special ones later on, and differing play styles are catered for, and there are some truly ridiculous weapons, from a tennis racket to a balloon. And in terms of value, as always with all things Nicalis, you're paying the price for their quality, and here is no different. You're looking at almost $40 or £35.99 in the UK, and you can purchase the game physically, which is what I would do. There are plenty hours here if you seek it, but I'm going to coin this phrase: only if you like repetitive replayability. How many hours you put into this will depend on whether you want to unlock all of the weapons and upgrade everything there is to upgrade, while also achieving some of the more difficult achievements. Completing the game is no cakewalk, apart from this game that spews out desserts like it's trying to feed the world. It's a shame there are no online leaderboards, as having a scoring system would have been a nice addition. In terms of my verdict then, Nicalis has delivered another quality game to their lineup, but I can't help but feel for the price I was left wanting more. After a few hours I could feel the game's initial charm start to wane. While the gameplay mechanics are all decent enough, visually it's nice and the music is catchy, it has an addictive cycle. It just felt a little too repetitive for me, and I'm someone who doesn't mind grinding in a game. The story for me was quite forgettable and the bosses were just that bit lackluster, unfortunately. Fighting enemy after enemy of bots just felt a little bit tedious after 3 or 4 hours of doing the exact same thing. It's not to say you won't enjoy it, but I would wait for a sale before investing in this one. A solid 7 out of 10. And before I go today, leave me a comment down below, let me know your favourite hack and slash game of all time. I really want to know what that could be. In terms of this one, I'm sure that Nicalis fans will be picking this one up on day one. What about yourself? Are you picking this one up or are you going to wait for a sale? Let me know in the comment section down below, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, well, what can I say? There's a dislike button for you there as well. And also, before I go, if you're a new watcher, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so we can notify you of when our new videos go live. And a selection of videos are coming up now so you can see what we're all about and if we're for you. My name is Juan Romero from SwitchWatch. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? You know me long enough. I'll see you again on the next one. Take care.